But we must have turned it down. Yeah. Yep. It's red. Shows that we are.
So right there.
No, they're both live. It shows we're live now.
Yeah. This one. Right there. But when it gets,
But this is generally where you build.
yeah.
Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay,
And I would second that motion.
all in favor of approving the minutes from last week?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, what else is quick?
Is it number 11?
Okay, sure.
Oh, wait, I already numbered it. Let's not. That's the resolution, so I have it numbered. We do number 10.
Okay.
So for the budget amendment, the earliest for me would be October 11th, so I can get all the publications to the paper, or the 18th. So depending on the department heads what they get back to me. I've only heard from 2.
Should we
Do
safest
you
to
know of
do
any
it
others, Tracy?
on the 18th?
Yeah, or the 11th, I think, but, yeah, just, I don't know how soon Shelby wanted it for sure, but,
She wants it back.
yeah. So if those are the only 2 departments, there's a couple others I can think of that are like just interdepartmental things I've noticed. So we should be able to do October 11th at 9:30. For the fiscal year 23 budget
I have a
amendment.
motion for that.
Yes, sir.
Second.
All right, all in favor of that budget amendment hearing? October 11th?
At 9:30 a.m.
Okay.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, I'm good.
Good, how are you?
And where you want to
Mark.
I'd like to set a land use hearing for Colton Kensenbaugh for Tuesday, October 11th at 9.
Ryan and Denise. The parent parcel is 47.73 acres in size, and they would like to build a new house on that particular site. As far as the technical review goes, I sent you all of the aerials. I also included some photographs that help shed the light on what the project is all about. You can see from the photos that the site is in production, but the soils are silt loam, which is the predominant soil type in this part of Benton County. That soil type there has a average CSR of a 63. The site does need a new driveway, and the reason that I included the photos there is to show you basically what was going on with the driveway. Randy reported to me that he reviewed it, and if you look at the photographs, you can kind of understand what he was talking about here. Is there's one spot and one spot only to place the driveway to access this property, and it's the top of that hill that exists there. The reason I took the photos like I did is I was on the south side of the hill, and then I was on the more of the northerly side of the hill, and you can see basically where I tried to capture it with the white flag that he set, what he was talking about there. But both Jeremy and Brian have assured us that they'll work with Benton County in respect to getting that driveway where it needs to be so that it can be in compliance and he can get a driveway permit. And Randy is good with that as well. So there isn't any issue with that. The site does need a new well and septic system for the new home. As far as this soil type is concerned, normally I mention at every public hearing, board's heard this before, but that particular soil type sometimes leads us not to be able to get a conventional septic system, as in tank and trenches. We go into what's called a sand filter system, which is the first alternative that we pick. A lot of sand filters are going in our county and other counties around us these days, but it normally is placed there if the soils do not have real great permeability. But anyway, we'll work through that as, assuming that the board is okay with this land use change, we'll work through that when we get to the point of doing construction. Overall land use pattern in the area here are basically farm residences, several farm residences just immediately close to this on the east side of the road. There aren't any large-scale livestock operations that I was able to identify in the vicinity of this application either. We sent 4 adjacent property owner notices prior to today's hearing, and of course we published legal notices in the newspapers of Benton County. When I first went out to the property to look at it, to start the review, an adjoining neighbor saw me there and he stopped to talk. Ray Fairchild's his name. Ray mentioned that he had no issues whatsoever with somebody building a house here. We heard no other responses prior to today's hearing. So overall, this review is really well, as far as it's not taking land that has a CSR in excess of 70 out of production. I don't see any issues with it. And again, the driveway situation is all going to be resolved basically, so I don't have any issues. Jared, anything you want to add? Any questions of me?
The driveway, that's gonna be part of the 3 acres then? Or will you have to come in and then come back?
Might have to go a stitch towards my way, if that's what it takes, that's fine. Wherever they say it has to be, we'll work that out.
So it may not be within that 3 acre tract here.
It might not be.
If it is not, as long as you give them a perpetual easement,
Yeah,
then
and I'll give him an easement through mine, whatever it takes to get it done, it says no problem.
it just
Wherever
needs
the
to
county
be
says we need a driveway, that's what we'll deal with.
Motion to approve.
I will second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. You're welcome.
keep going. Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you guys. Take care.
Thank you.
We probably don't. Here's the orders copy if you want it.
So you can try to print it, did you?
There's about 7 minutes. You want to do it over?
Yeah, I suppose I'll just change the numbers.
Whatever. We can wait.
Oh, I numbered them, but I
We'll
don't
wait.
think you have to sign these today, we can change it.
We'll wait.
Sure.
Yep. We'll wait.
I was here at 6 this morning for the election, so I was getting these all prepped.
They open till 8 tonight.
We're all 2 voters.
We have 5 precincts open. Wilson and Benton today. We already had 8 before 7:30, so. I think that's what I was looking at. Report.
Yeah. Any report? I had conservation last night. We're gonna have a chili cook-off. And late. Thursday night, they're gonna have the kickoff for the Ed and Shane property out there. You can come out Thursday night, 5 to 7. There will be food there, I think, yeah. I won't go, there's gonna be food there.
That's right out at the property.
Yep, that's not a parking lot. Guess that's about it. It was one of the shorter meetings last night. We talked about body camera policy, how they're gonna address that now.
So they're all gonna have body cameras.
Yeah.
This is on Thursday from 5 to 7?
Yes.
Okay, and that's out there?
Yeah.
By my daughter.
Yeah, by the side farm.
Yeah.
Signs on there, 5 to 7.
Yep. You fix the windshield?
I think they're probably as much of a maintenance item as anything. It's been 2.5 years since we did any windshield.
It's all of it by some of the invoices should be tinting and stuff.
I think they all have that, at least the allowable tinting on the front plate. With them spending most of their time on gravel roads, they pick up numerous rock chips to the point where drivers are commenting or bothersome. And I think we got it scheduled so they can all come down and get them all done in 2 days instead of just doing one at a time.
Set it down there, or they come up
They
here?
came to our shop and did them in our shop, so we could leave them parked in the shop overnight for the glue to set up.
Oh, okay.
Do you have any preference? They just said the name is that alternate vehicles? Their title? This one has to do with how it is. Eric.
The grader shed down in Blairstown, don't have any water, hasn't had water for quite a while. It's got to be placed, do something about that.
We put a sand point in there years ago that worked. It's, the water table is evidently deeper now, but the sand point doesn't work. We tried to put a new sand point in and drove it, I don't know, 5 foot deeper and it didn't make any difference here earlier this year or last year.
You know, that kind of intrigues me because Prairie Creek's right there.
inquired about tying on to the rural water line. It just came down to their vote to the neighbor there, but they paid for that themselves. So they tie on to that line for the first 5 years, they paid for part of that installation cost. It seemed prohibitive.
Yeah, pretty expensive.
For what little we use. It's been nice at the Keystone shed and Mount Auburn shed because the water line went right outside the front building. So the cost of hooking up to the rural water at that point made sense. It's similar to the landfill. They don't use water down there, but the main line is right there at the front building. And at this point, there isn't a water line that's running right by them, directly in front of the shed.
Oh, pretty good.
9:30. Carl?
Yes, sir. I was here a while back wanting to upgrade my agricultural driveway. I went on and measured, eye level on the tractor. I'm coming out of there at 9 feet tall. Combine is 12 feet tall. And, your guidelines are at 3'5" or whatever, basically on the vehicle. And, I need to widen the driveway. I'm not sure I can go in there with a combine and duals with it the way it is. And I don't know if you want me to just dump a pile of dirt in the thing so I can get in and out in a more safe manner, but
Well, it does say, we write a little resolution, this stated a 3.5 foot height of height, and a minimum sight distance of 500 feet. And I get it from 9 and 12.5. That's a pretty good distance to raise your driveway though.
no. From a tractor cab,
I get it, but
I'm 9 feet tall.
I'm not sure you can guarantee that you're coming out of there only.
That's all we use it for, is going in there for farming, and we're coming out with a tractor or a driveway. I mean,
Go in with a pickup.
do we not have any driveways that are kind of grandfathered in because of time? I mean, this one, if you look at the maps at the courthouse, was there in the 1800s. We can't modernize them to today's needs because they were there then. I mean, this has served 3 different farmers since before 1900. And all I want to do is widen it so I can be safer going in and out. I mean, the liability to the county, if I upset going into it, are you liable because you denied me the right to widen it? Or if I'm struggling to get off the road and a car does come, which they can see me, I mean, it isn't that big of a knob right there. I mean, I can see to the north T road and they could see me if I'm on the road, but I just want to be safe where I can just pull in, pull out with a combine and duals and whatever other equipment I have. I mean, it's not a major deal. The driveway's been there, it's always gonna be there.
It does say in this ordinance that if the speed limit is posted to 40 miles per hour or less, the sight distance shall be allowed would be 350 feet. Now, here's 338.
Something like that, I don't know what he had.
When you're widening your driveway, is there any way to build it up a
It
scope?
should be, because it's one of them sunken ones that goes in this way, and it could be just,
With that, I wonder if that would give them enough sight distance to 350 and change the speed limit. But how far does that speed limit have to change? I mean, is it the whole road, or is it just, a mile?
that's about all long that road is about a mile. I don't know, from the T south, is that much over a mile?
a little over a mile away from the pavement near your place, going north to that T intersection is what?
Mile and a quarter?
And a half, roughly. It'd be what, probably 3/4 of a mile between the T intersection and the
Because Becker's Road, Becker's
just south
Road
of
would
the
be,
field entrance that goes to the east.
I mean, Ron Tippett drove out and looked at it and stopped and talked to me and he said, I don't see a problem with that, so,
Is there a culvert in it now?
yes.
Culvert's probably plugged.
Is it? So you need a new culvert.
The one that's there, I think, is okay. They dug out to the south for cleaning ditches, and I think it's there, but if it needs to be replaced and you want to go longer, that's fine. I'll pay for a longer culvert, or we can add on to that and just go north. But if it's time to be replaced, do it right.
Well, culvert hasn't been analyzed heavily from that perspective. It just appears that it could be fairly plugged now. Sometimes taking them out and standing them upright on dry conditions, you might be able to shake all the dirt out of them and reuse the culvert if it's in good condition. When they're in borderline condition, we just replace them in those cases. My opinion, looking at the driveway again yesterday, raising the driveway with the vegetation that's in the ditch and the driveway that is immediately to the north of that building site, you're not going to improve the site distance much at 3.5 feet. Site of eye that we use with our resolution. Now, you could shave a little bit off the crest of the hill. I think there's some minor things that you can do to easily meet the 350 feet that we have in the resolution. That references the 40-mile-an-hour speed limit.
So it would have to be 40 miles an hour as well.
But I think there's probably a lot more extensive work that would need to be done to meet the 500-foot site distance if you continue to use the 3.5-foot side of eye that we use and reference in our resolution.
But if we went to the 40-mile-an-hour speed limit for that road, which is a short road anyway, from what I'm hearing, and build the driveway up with Scotch, you'll be able to, you said,
I think you could account that you could meet the 350 feet requirement.
then he would be within the resolution, within the parameters.
Can you move the driveway 150 feet?
Can you what?
Can you move the driveway and?
No, because the easement to my property in the back goes straight back there. You got crop ground on both sides. So it's just one spot, if it was just getting into Zimmer's, yeah, you could move it up on to the north. If you were just getting in Beatty's, you go south. But my easement is right there. There's no altering it.
Your easement is a grass waterway or the driveway?
It's just a grass drive going back there.
So what's the easiest?
Without doing major tweaking to the driveway resolution as it was drafted, well, the current one is 08, but a lot of the language in the one that is in the current 2008 one is from the 1982 version. I added the 40 miles per hour and 350 feet, and changed some of the specifications and how you build them. They used to be 1-to-1 side slopes. These are 2-to-1s or 6-to-1s, depending on the type of road they're on, and then a fixed fee cost for doing that. But the 500 feet and the 350 feet were both, those numbers were compared to the stopping site distance that AASHTO has, the American Association of State Highways and Transportation Officials. They have design guides that engineers use for designing roadways. They have the stopping site distance all calculated out for normal surfacing conditions on how long distance for braking to stop when you see a fixed object. 495 feet is the 55-mile-an-hour speed limit distance we've rounded that up to 500. 35, I think, is 305, 40 is 360. Take that back. 360, I think, is 45, 40 is 305. We rounded that to the 350 at the time when this resolution was drafted. But I know that that table has been looked at in the past when there has been a posted speed limit. It's never been part of a resolution until 2008. But I'm aware of past driveways that where the site distance might not have been 500 feet, but there was a posted regulatory speed limit on the road, and that speed was cross-referenced with the AASHTO stopping site distance that allowed or denied based on that.
I don't see a problem with the current resolution that we have. If he can build that up a bit, which sounds like it's got a dip anyway, and reduce the speed limit to 40 for that road, as long as you can get to 350, I don't see that we've got to mess with the resolution. What do you see?
I would like to see something added in the resolution on an old driveway. I think you just extend it like he wants to do, add it on.
I think it's pretty important to go back to how this resolution was created. The current enactment of it isn't the only time we've had this. We've had this, Myron, doesn't go back to the 80s. The site distance requirement is based on engineering principles and standards established by the DOT for safety. This isn't something that you just mess with. There are ways that it can be brought into compliance with this ordinance. That's unfortunate that the landowner may experience some cost because of that, or will experience some cost. The county could lower the speed limit to 40. The road, or the driveway, can be built up to meet the 350-foot site distance required. You don't want to mess with this and start creating standards that abandon the concept of roadway safety just to grandfather something in. And that's not meant to be an insult to you. It's meant to keep the citizens of the county safe. Because you never know when someone's going to be in a car that pulls in to turn around, whatever, backing out, whatever, and then we have an accident. That's why we have this. So if you're going to change it, I would suggest that you should stick to solid engineering principles and rely on your county engineer for what types of changes would be safe.
Not too long ago, we had someone wanting to buy some property, and there was some old storage units on that property. Remember this? And we turned it down because of the site distance. They couldn't purchase that, the seller couldn't sell that. And if we were going to grandfather in and change this ordinance, I think we should have been doing it long before now. You know, I don't think, you're only talking 12-foot site distance, or length. If we can build that site distance up just a scotch, I don't see this as an issue. You can still fall within the resolution.
And the other thing you could do, if you want to help Mr. Yedlick out, you could talk to your engineer about how much work would it take to shave some of the hill off.
Well, that's if he wants to get to 500 is what.
Well, but anything starts
I was
to-
doing a little both, as David is moving both hands. I think, Chuck mentioned getting that dip out of the driveway and raising it. Is gonna help his ag equipment stand out even more. He mentioned the 9 feet and the 12.5.
12 feet on a combine.
Combine and tractor, when those are the vehicles going in and out of there, they're going to be probably seen at 500 feet. We use 3.5 feet because that's the normal height of a normal passenger vehicle. Now, you get in a pickup, you get in an SUV, you're sitting higher, but in a car or now that ATV, UTVs are becoming more heavily used and are legal on every rock road in the county now, there's not to say that one of those would be coming in and out of there. You're closer or less than that 3.5 feet. And so, I think that height of eye is still a good
Cause I mean,
base height to be using for the resolution, granted the use of the driveway may be very heavily ag, but the reason Dave just mentioned, you could have a car that pulls into that driveway to turn around, or maybe somebody is needing to deliver or drop things off into that field and comes in with a car or some smaller vehicle, you then, have that smaller site distance. And at least right now with our driveway resolution, they gave a option with at least that 40-mile-an-hour speed limit to have at least adequate stopping site distance, but the ability to accept driveway locations where they didn't meet the 500, but they meet 350 plus. Sharpness of that hill, I think that you would probably have to take quite a bit of that hill off to get to 500 feet for a vehicle at 3.5 feet. But as Chuck mentioned, I think his tractor and his combine would be seen probably 500 feet away, coming in or out where the site distance is limited to the north. But I don't know how you write that into a resolution or make that exception, because there's no way you can guarantee that the user is never going to be in or out of there, or somebody else isn't in or out of that driveway with only a large ag piece of equipment.
So I think this is not an action item, but if he goes ahead and, if we tell him he can go ahead and widen and raise his driveway to meet the criteria, and we change the speed limit, then all is well, and we've done our due diligence. And if an accident happens, we shouldn't be opening ourselves up for liability, nor should he. That's the way I'm seeing this. I guess I don't have.
so I can post a sign at that driveway, enter at your own risk, so if somebody wants to turn around.
No, well, I mean, you can do that, but no, what they're saying is you're gonna have to meet the standards of this resolution.
Right, I'm meeting the standards of the resolution.
And
But he says
you could do
there's-
that, but I don't, we're not gonna give, we can't give you any private legal advice, let me say it that way, if that sign would help you or not help you.
And once the driveway is, the height is raised sufficiently, then we can change the speed limit. Can't we?
Yep.
Okay.
We can change the speed limit anytime.
Very true, very true.
And to be honest about it, it really needs to be changed before the work is done, because, or we gotta put up a sign or something.
Then we just need to get it in the works and get a resolution to change that, don't we, Myron? The speed limit?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, that's something you could have for next week even. I don't have a problem.
I don't either. The only thing you gotta find out is the culvert good enough to add on? I'm guessing and betting that it's not, that you'll end up having to buy a new 30-foot culvert. And Myron, you got them on hand, don't you? Usually. I try to, we usually do, and it's been a great, season for installing culvert tubes. And, I've had a challenge of staying ahead of what we're doing and getting them delivered, to keep a supply on hand. Just ordered some more today, but,
You need more rainy days so you can't work.
yeah, just about.
Well, if he comes forth with a resolution next week, we can change the speed limit
Yeah.
irregardless.
Yeah. And then you'll have to go to secondary roads in order, I remember your criteria is, when they figure out on the culvert, whether you add on to it or new culvert, the way they're, I'm speaking for you again, check in hand first before you do the work.
In the resolution. also.
Yeah.
I've done it before, yeah, they won't do anything until they have that check, I know how that works.
say Chuck has had other work done on other properties, so he's fully aware of how Secretary Rose does that.
I think this is a win-win. It protects the county for liability. It allows him to go ahead and raise as well as widen his driveway. And
Posting a sign for speed limit's great because people tear up and down gravel roads now, so I mean, that wouldn't hurt anyway,
I
slow
think that
them down.
makes sense.
Take that on the agenda next week? Sure. Okay.
Do you want to check that culvert and
Yeah, I'll go maybe by when we get back and we'll get it looked at and figure things up.
yeah, cause if he calls me and says it has, whichever way you gotta go, I can bring a check in and you do what you gotta do, so.
And if he can't get that sight distance, reducing the speed limit isn't gonna hurt anybody. You know, and it also adds him extra protection if it takes him extra time to get in and out of the driveway. So.
But the difference only being 12 feet, I think working on both the hill of the road and the height of the driveway, we can work both of them to get to that hill.
Sure. Sounds good. That works.
As long as I can get in and out with the combine, that's all that matters, cause harvest is coming. The beans are turning.
Yeah, well, if you don't get the sight distance, you're not gonna get the driveway widened. So, yeah.
Okay, Wanda.
Thank you, Chuck.
State is updating their 28E agreement for driver's license. I had Dave review it. They really didn't change a whole lot, and so there isn't really anything that I was concerned about. I just have to have your guys' approval and that's fine. Somebody to sign it.
Did you, print that, cause the one you scanned was the one page upside down.
Oh, yeah, I printed it. Yeah, I printed it.
Are they giving you more money on the license?
I wish, but no. The state has not increased our rates for since maybe 2010, 12, somewhere in there. All the counties we all agree they need to start paying us more because of the amount of work that we do. That's our next thing we're working on.
So you need a motion to approve signing, authorizing the signing of the 2080 agreement with the state of Iowa.
That's resolution 2280.
Okay, yep, that's fine. Okay, second my motion.
By resolution,
Pearson, aye.
Bremer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Get your signature, Tracy's signature. Scan it and send it to the state. Shows them now.
No.
Thank you.
That was a quick one.
What about 11?
What is the current reimbursement rate?
Well, I have it numbered, so, but you can go ahead, cause Larry says, you gotta change yours anyway.
Take license plates.
Well,
That's
just
over
the number
on the
for
other
you,
side,
I-
that's
Oh, I thought you said you had to change
Yeah, we get
yours.
so much, I'd have to look that
Oh,
up.
the dollar amount on it, that, just do that in the conversation, I think.
Yeah, but I'll have to tweak it anyway, so if you wanna change, you can go ahead and do number.
Does it change the number?
It'll change the resolution number, but I have to tweak it anyway, so I can.
So I don't need to be here, I guess, I'm not sure what you mean,
No,
so.
you told me in the hallway that you had to change the amount.
Yeah.
Which I used the current tax amount, so that's why I wasn't sure. For the abatement, the one I sent you yesterday, Melinda,
I got it right here.
were those the right amounts?
No, I just checked, yeah, I'm not sure, can we discuss it now real quick then?
Yeah, you must be thinking of something else. I was talking about the amount of the abatement.
Yes, yeah, so is it okay to talk about it real quick?
Yeah,
So-
I thought you meant you were changing the amount on that, so that's why I was.
That's a yes, I didn't know if I had to come back or not, so, okay, so, on the first one,
on the abate taxes on the, Bell Plain one, that was one that was owned by the city with the school, but we do have some of the city ones that are normally taxed because they get properties back and resell them, or they're trying to refurbish them, so that was that question there. 251, district was, school district had some ag property, and that doesn't make it exempt, but in this case, they are using it for a classroom situation for ag part of it and stuff, so it's used in conjunction with their education, so that we changed that to be exempt. One that we're really talking about was St. John's Catholic Church in the 050 number that when it was revalued in 2021, same as all other properties and stuff too, because they ran out the parsonage, the rectory part of it. And when reappraisal was done on that, they included land value, half the land value of the church and half the land value with the parsonage part of it. We didn't have the land in it before. They let us know it was rented out and stuff too. So first step was taking out the land value. That's what the number that you have there, which was the 133 before, I think. But then they said, well, that should include the basement, some other things. We went out and checked the size of it, confirmed things. So the 133,200 number, 118,800 is what I have. And I tried to get back to the priest, actually this last Friday, and I haven't been able to talk to him. So that's the number that I proposed, is the 118,800 instead of I can give you a copy.
Yeah, so that'll change my tax.
That's fine.
Yep, that's what I'm saying, so, yeah. And they let us know about the rented out part and stuff too. We're not out searching if they're that way, but, and I could have had the land, but I didn't need to push back any farther, kind of, so that's the quick explanation of those ones, so.
So do you wanna just treat this one as an auditor's correction and not an abatement? We're not wiping it out?
Whatever works out for you.
Let's probably do that, so I'll take that one off of this list.
Because that one, I'm just gonna adjust, we'll just adjust.
Yeah, because you're abating those other two ones.
Yeah,
This one, we're just revaluing this,
Okay.
so I'll take
Yeah,
that one
just
out of here.
yeah, just something in
And like I said, I tried to get back to him on Friday and it didn't work, and then Monday didn't work either, so.
Gotta try it Sunday morning.
Yeah, a little different hours, but I thought it was gonna be, one of those days that they're not open, then the secretary for, I don't know, the diocese or whatever else, and she works at home, so this guy, she was talking to me and trying to wrangle a child at the same time.
David, I got a question.
Is that all you for?
I think so, yeah, we'll
Yeah,
do,
we'll
we'll
do-
do the abatement
we'll-
by resolution,
yeah.
I'll treat those.
We'll do that,
All right, yeah, and hopefully we're getting near the end of some of these
I
ones.
found some DOT,
Anyways,
right-of-ways that we might have to.
My question is, Haley basically copied when we're doing this, code of ordinance thing, okay, from about 10, 11 years ago. And they had done a first and a third reading. Can we do that? I've always seen it as a first and second, wait the third. And as long as we do two of them?
Yeah, what we're gonna do is I would advise you to have the next one.
Yeah.
And don't waive it, because how it looks right now, it's a typo. How it looks right now, it looks as if the board's already had a meeting to decide that you're gonna waive the second consideration. You don't wanna do that. In case anybody were to argue that there's a defect in the publication, I think the way we cure that is you're just gonna have all three considerations.
So,
well, we didn't publish tab 3, we published tab 2.
Well, there's two solutions here. Either we say it's a typo and we have all three. And you put
which
it
isn't a
on,
big deal.
or you publish a new ordinance, or you publish a new publication and start over again. What you don't want to have is a situation where we're in court maybe a year from now on the land use ordinance, and some enterprising defense attorney says you didn't follow the proper procedure and recodify your ordinances. We don't want to let that issue fall into the laps of a district court judge. So we want to do it the right way. I think that we can correct it by just having all three considerations. And she has a public notice that she can put, and I'm sure the public notice is in the bulletin board.
Well, it was published in the paper.
But we can go ahead and put that, and we can put it on the website with the correction. It's a typo.
Well, when they did the motion to set the dates, we waived that second. So that's how when they had to set the dates for the public hearing.
Okay, I guess I'm not sure why you would agree to waive the second until you've had the first consideration.
That's fine. I was just following old minutes. So
No. I think that I believe that the proper procedure is, once you have that first consideration and you read the ordinance, after you've done that, then the board has the right to waive the other readings, the other considerations. But you don't announce that you've made that decision before you actually get to that first consideration and have it. So I think right now, the best bet was just to say it was a typo, and just to be safe, we're gonna cure any potential defect, not that there is one, but in case someone wants to say that there is a defect, we'll cure it by just having all three considerations. It's not gonna take any longer, really, because you guys are here those weeks anyways, right?
So in the paper screwed up the publication in it because we put Martin.
But we can, in the meantime, we can correct the notice by putting it on the website and putting it in the bulletin board.
We don't have to put it in the paper.
I don't think you have to put it in the paper.
Cool. Okay.
We'll just do it by having all three
I've
considerations.
just seen it, having been on city council before, you know, and this is no fault of Haley's, basically all she did was copy that from 10 years ago or whatever.
Well, and it could have just been a typo then, they could have.
Yeah.
So, do you want to redo that motion then from earlier?
We do one other thing too on it. So Haley had actually raised a good question. I believe our county ATV ordinance is 71, and they passed a House file that took effect on July 1st, House File 2130, and it basically preempts the county's regulation. So part of your ordinance to recodify should have a blurb in it that says ordinance, and again, make sure it's 71, but I think it's 71. Ordinance 71 is repealed and not recodified due to passage of House File 2130.
Just put it in our regular code instead of us repealing it by ordinance.
Yeah, but we'll do that as part of your, that's part of your reading. So if you would.
Sounds simpler, instead
Yes.
of having another.
Yeah, because otherwise then you're gonna have another set of regulations that don't really apply and people might get confused. We don't need that.
Okay.
Basically, that House file greatly limits your ability to regulate ATVs. You can do it in certain situations, like if you're doing road construction, you can embargo ATVs from a section of road, or if you have to reroute traffic due to other construction, you can limit ATVs for a short time period. But other than that, you really have no control over it anymore.
So we're just basically, number 71 is just repealing it?
Yeah, and essentially, you're announcing it's repealed, but you basically had it, it's already essentially been repealed. It's been preempted, that's actually the correct term, preempted by the passage of House File 2130.
So we don't have to do another ordinance?
No, I just would incorporate that into your reading.
Okay. So should I list it on the actual new ordinance then down below?
I would say 71. I would say repealed by the passage of House File 2130.
Let's come back. Oh, we already did, oh.
Well, the publication is for 905 for the reading, so.
Okay.
You can still bring that up in the next.
He's here,
Okay.
he's here, so he can guide us.
Okay, good. So
Yeah,
you want
you
to do
need-
number 9 real quick?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep, and that's what I'm gonna take out that middle one.
Okay.
so as per explained by the increase in the assessor, the vacant taxes on parcels 030-2500, 050-2200.
Let him read out.
Okay,
Let him read that.
We're gonna take out the old bit because it's gonna have a partially value,
okay,
so it won't be abated.
okay.
Whereas the entities listed below has acquired property for public purposes and were given the appropriate notice of the taxes due, and whereas said entity failed to pay said tax, and whereas Code 445.63 provides that the Board of Supervisors shall pay the tax if the governing body fails to immediately pay the tax. It is therefore resolved that the 2022 tax assessed against parcels listed below as follows are hereby abated in the amounts listed pursuant to Iowa Code 445.63. The treasurer is directed to strike the amount listed due from the county system. Belle Plaine Community School District, parcel number 030-20500, $532. Then Shellsburg Community Schools, parcel number 250-42720, $582. Dated this 13th day of September 2022.
That's my motion.
Second.
By resolution.
Kramer, aye.
Your saying,
Seaman, aye. You don't need to find that one. That's not good. You gotta make sure. Now we gotta have
Right.
the one for the
So
one that we're taking out. Right?
yes, so number 11, I'm changing it from Fund 27 to Fund 25.
Okay, wait. The one here, 2, you just abated. 1, you're gonna revise.
Right, because he's having a partial value, so that's gonna be
We
considered
gotta vote on
auditor's.
that.
No, that's not abatement, so no, that's between Larry and
Now
I.
we'll do the number 11.
And so we amend the resolution
2279,
279.
I'm gonna change fund number 27 to be fund number 25.
Okay. That sounds pretty simple.
Everything else will stay the same.
Make that motion that we do that.
Second.
All in favor?
Resolution, Kramer, aye.
Your saying, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Okay. Now we go back and amend the motion.
Yeah, 905, number 4.
Well, and Jerry, you had a question on that one, so maybe Dave can help you on that one. Under the safety, we had that,
You have, you with you?
the number 66, an ordinance amending the code of ordinances by adding a social host ordinance. You know what that was for? That's the title on that one,
What's the number on?
number 66. And I could pull up that ordinance.
Yeah, we had that, I can't remember what the substance abuse group was that came in, but they asked for that a number of years ago. And you said it's under public
Yeah,
safety or
number
public health?
Chapter 7, yeah. So I can pull it up. It's, to protect and preserve the rights, privileges, and property of the county and its residents.
Yeah, I would think you would be reenacting that.
Alright, I just wasn't sure why it was called the social host or whatever.
It's about folks that are providing alcohol
And
to
so it's
underage
substance
people.
Okay,
A little bit I knew about what I kind of read out. If you had like over 150 people at a party, you're supposed to have law enforcement.
I haven't looked at that thing in probably a decade, so.
Well, I,
means
But,
any
Kind of
group
scandal.
of 3, an event
It was a
gathering
big
party.
push statewide a number of years ago to get counties to enact that specific ordinance,
Okay.
and whenever that was, a decade ago-ish,
2007.
we enacted it. I don't think there'd be any reason to get rid of it.
no, I don't know.
2007, so
So that was
15
that one
years
here.
ago.
You want me to send you the actual ordinance number on that one?
That's okay.
Okay. That was his question, so. So then back to, since we didn't technically repeal it by an ordinance, do you want me to leave the title and then just put in preemptive, or whatever you said, by the House
Yeah,
File
it's preempted
2130?
by House File
2130.
2130.
Okay, I'll list it up here and then put that on there.
But I think that, yeah, I think you just say this, it's no longer in effect because it's been preempted. for House File 2130.
So I'll put that in parentheses there.
Okay.
Under there.
Okay.
So how does that work? You're at 100, whatever, you're 200 or 150 or whatever. And then somebody comes and they got 3 in the car. You gotta call the cops and get the cops there.
Well, here's the thing, I haven't looked at that in 15 years, so I'm not gonna comment because I'd have to read it again.
Sure. Okay, so what are we doing on item 4?
We're gonna have 3 readings,
Okay. Yeah,
okay? And then we're also gonna amend what, for the ATV to go by the
state ordinance or ruling 2030
repealing
and repeal that?
or what?
Or local ordinance.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what I amend my motion to.
So we're not gonna wait.
On all 3, and let's put a corrected notice in the bulletin board.
Okay, okay.
It'd be all right.
Yeah.
Second.
Okay. Again, all in favor?
Aye.
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 So we're just gonna do this undrafted for 1 week later.
I'm worried about the party, Gary Beershanks.
You're invited.
If he has 200 people, he's worried about the 3 additional that show up in a car.
Our little ranger's not gonna hold that many people.
David, you're 151, you gotta leave.
I've crashed worse parties than the Beershanks shindig.
You can stay outside till the cops come. Maybe.
Just wait, huh?
I know when I'm not wanted.
Is there anything else?
No.
Okay, then I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.